Forget everything you've heard about the American dream. In 2025, families are fleeing the US in record numbers, and what they reveal will shock you to your core. Chapter 1. The Illusion of the American Dream. For over a century, the American dream was the shining beacon for families across the world. Millions believed that moving to the United States would open doors to prosperity, freedom, and a better life for their children. But by 2025, cracks began to show in the foundation of this dream. Stories surfaced of families struggling to make ends meet, disillusioned by skyrocketing costs and vanishing opportunities. Behind the glossy advertisements and Hollywood promises, the harsh truth is that the American dream has become a nightmare for many. The reality for most is not white picket fences and happy neighborhoods, but endless bills, job insecurity, and communities torn apart by stress and hardship. The promise of upward mobility is now just that, a promise rarely fulfilled for ordinary families. The narrative sold to the world masked the growing crisis within. As families shared their struggles online, a wave of regret and desperation spread. The American dream, once the envy of the world, was now a cautionary tale. People began to ask, was it all a lie? Chapter 2. Healthcare Horror Stories. One of the biggest shocks for families in America is the state of healthcare. Instead of access and affordability, they are met with confusing insurance policies, astronomical bills, and the terrifying risk of medical bankruptcy. Unlike countries with universal health care, the US forces families to gamble with their health and their finances every day. Mothers and fathers recount skipping necessary care for their children because they simply couldn't afford it. Life-saving medications are rationed, preventive care is postponed, and the stress of a single emergency room visit can shatter a family's savings in an instant. Medical debt has become a leading cause of personal bankruptcy, tearing families apart and destroying futures. The psychological toll is just as severe. Families live in constant fear of illness, not just because of the health risks, but because of the financial ruin that could follow. The American dream was supposed to provide safety and security, but in 2025, it's the source of nightmares. Chapter 3. Education Crisis. The Death of Opportunity. Education was once the great equalizer in America, the ticket out of poverty and into the middle class. But today, the US education system is failing its families. Public schools are underfunded, overcrowded, and plagued by violence and outdated materials. Teachers are burned out, and students are left behind. The cost of higher education is another insurmountable obstacle. College tuition has reached record highs, forcing families to choose between taking on crushing debt or giving up on their dreams entirely. Many parents look north to Canada and other countries where quality education is affordable and accessible to all. Families who moved to America for better educational opportunities now wonder if they made a catastrophic mistake. The myth of world-class schooling has been shattered, replaced by endless anxiety about the future. Chapter 4. The Housing Meltdown. Finding a safe, affordable home in America is harder than ever. Real estate prices have skyrocketed, rents are unaffordable, and homelessness is at an all-time high, even for working families. Entire cities are now dominated by tent communities and families living in cars. The dream of home ownership, once a pillar of the American dream, is now out of reach for millions. Families are forced to move constantly, chasing lower rents and safer neighborhoods. Children grow up without a sense of stability or community, and parents live with the daily fear of eviction. Meanwhile, a few profit while the majority suffer. The housing crisis is no longer a distant threat, it's the new normal. For countless families, America has become the last place they'd ever want to raise their children. Chapter 5. Work, Burnout, and the Vanishing Middle Class. Once, America's booming economy offered reliable jobs, fair wages, and the promise of a comfortable life. But in 2025, families are crushed by stagnant wages, job insecurity, and a relentless grind. The middle class is vanishing, replaced by a gig economy with no benefits, no protection, and no future. Parents are forced to work multiple jobs just to survive, sacrificing time with their children and their own well-being. Corporate profits soar, but workers see little of that success. The stress is unending, and the American workplace has become a source of anxiety, not pride. Many are asking, is this what we sacrificed everything for? For too many, the answer is a bitter no. The dream is dead, replaced by a reality that punishes hard work instead of rewarding it. Chapter 6. Safety in Decline: Crime, Violence, and Fear. America was once seen as a land of safety and law and order. Today, families live in fear of violence. Mass shootings, street crime, and unrest have become a part of daily life. Schools, shopping malls, and neighborhoods that once felt safe are now battlegrounds for survival. Parents speak of teaching their children how to hide during shootings, living with the constant anxiety of sending them to school each day. Police response is inconsistent, and justice feels far out of reach for most. Communities are fractured, trust is eroded, and hope is replaced with worry. The dream of a safe haven has died for millions, replaced by the harsh reality of danger on every corner. Chapter 7. The Family Breakdown: Isolation and Lost Connection. Modern American life is isolating. The pace, the stress, the constant grind of survival, it all erodes family ties. With little social support, families struggle to stay connected, and mental health issues are rampant. Children and teens face anxiety, depression, and loneliness at record rates. The extended family, once a staple of American life, has all but disappeared. Work schedules and financial stress leave little time for bonding or tradition. The community support that makes families strong is gone, replaced by competition and suspicion. Many families feel alone, trapped in a system that doesn't care if they fail. The sense of belonging that once defined the American dream has been lost, replaced by cold isolation. Chapter 8. The Immigration Mirage: Why Newcomers Regret Moving. For decades, immigrants saw America as the ultimate destination. But in 2025, the harsh truth is that many regret ever coming. Promises of prosperity are replaced by reality, discrimination, exploitation, and endless obstacles to stability. Immigrant families face bureaucratic nightmares, unwelcoming communities, and the constant threat of deportation or legal limbo. Children born in the US inherit a future filled with uncertainty and exclusion. Many now look back and wish they had chosen Canada, Australia, or Europe, places where family life is prioritized and newcomers are truly welcomed. The Great American Welcome has turned into a warning. Chapter 9. The Mental Health Crisis: A Silent Catastrophe. America is facing a mental health emergency, and families are bearing the brunt. Stress, anxiety, and depression are at all-time highs, fueled by financial strain, violence, and a sense of hopelessness. Access to care is limited, expensive, and often stigmatized. Parents struggle to get help for their children, and stigma prevents many from reaching out. The system fails families again and again, and the consequences are devastating: lost lives, broken families, and a generation growing up without hope. The mental health crisis is the hidden engine driving the collapse of the American dream. Without urgent action, the consequences will echo for generations. Chapter 10. What Families Wish They Knew. Stories of Regret and Lessons Learned. At the end of this journey, families who believed in the American dream share their hardest truths. Their stories are a warning to anyone still holding on to outdated myths. Regret, disappointment, and hard-earned wisdom fill their words. The message is clear. The US in 2025 is no longer the best place for families. The world has changed, and those who ignore the warning signs do so at their peril. As families continue to leave for better lives elsewhere, the American dream is exposed for what it is, a dream that died long ago. Their stories urge viewers to look beyond the hype, ask tough questions, and protect their families from making the same mistakes. In 2025, the US is the worst place for families, and the truth can no longer be hidden. Are you considering a move? Already struggling in the US? Don't risk your future. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications now so you never miss the truth they won't show on TV. Drop a comment below. Would you ever leave America for a better life? Why or why not? Let's start the conversation. Like, share, and subscribe for more unfiltered truth and real-life stories every week.